So in my last video, I said I didn't want another World War II Call of Duty game, and people told me I was spoiled, people said I had to deal with it, people said it was gonna make money either way, so I should shut up. It further proves to me that the average YouTube commenter doesn't really think. They're just like in a bad mood and they impulsively type shit out. Like, I'm a reviewer and critiquer of FPS games and Call of Duty. I talk about the community, I talk about players and habits, I even give some tips and tricks. It only benefits me for the game to come out. What I'm saying is I wouldn't prefer that time period. And that's not really a deal with it situation, that's a, oh, he doesn't prefer that time period situation, but I know that's hard for people to understand, so we're gonna move on. Objectively, a World War II theme is limiting. You are limited to that time period and the history of that time period. Even if you get crazy with cosmetics like World War II did, adding red dot sights and Grim Reaper outfits, you are still limited to that war. But the current leaks, and I didn't talk about this enough in the last video, the leaks actually point towards it being a historical fiction, where the war never ended and it goes into the 50s. I imagine this is some alternate history thing where we just never dropped the bombs, or Russia failed to invade Germany. It could be 100 different things. So whether Nagasaki doesn't get nuked or Barbarossa never happens, we don't really know, but this is all just leaked information. We could be getting a World at War remaster and this is a big red herring. But let's talk about it like it's real just for a second. This changes my perspective on the game entirely. If it's a lot less COD World War II and a little bit more Sky Captain in the world of tomorrow, a sort of vintage noir alternate fantasy where, let's say, there's big German robots, Wolfenstein style, or I don't know, Japan invades America. We could have those types of things and it could be pretty damn cool. Now, the comparisons to Wolfenstein are gonna go flying across the bow, but Wolfenstein did not invent alternate World War II history. They just sort of really popularized it in the FPS space, so you know what, I totally get the comparisons. But things can be similar while having the right to exist in the same space. What an alternate history World War II Call of Duty would mean is we are essentially getting a fantasy Call of Duty game. And that is similar to things like Black Ops 2 or Call of Duty Ghosts. And in that case, kind of bring it on. I'm not really talking about the campaign here. I mean, that would be very, very interesting, but in terms of multiplayer, the amount of weapons and gadgets and tools and environments, they would be so drastically different than a traditional World War II game. At least I would hope that they would be. I'm hoping if they do this, they go full bore, and while we do get some classic weapons that are very recognizable, like an M1 Garand or a Thompson or an MP40, I want completely made up weapons based on prototypes that never saw the light of day. I want to see creative gadgets and tools that are both analog and tactile, like something from that time period would be, but not realistic, something that maybe wouldn't have ever actually been used in combat, but exists within this COD game. We have a chance here to have a very, very unique Call of Duty sandbox. My fear is that they're gonna play it too safe, and it'll essentially just feel like a World War II Call of Duty game where the campaign has all the story elements and the multiplayer just sort of falls behind, and they use the alternate history to justify the amount of weird weapons and cosmetics they're going to be adding. I mean, COD World War II is already sort of alternate history World War II with the number of prototype strange weapons that we never really saw in actual combat. There were black female Nazis killing me with Scottish claymores, and so yeah, you know what? And anything was on the table at that point. My M1 Garand literally had a red dot sight. And I swear to God, if you try to justify that red dot sight as just being red paint, I'm gonna strangle you through my monitor. And like I said in my previous video, I don't think Call of Duty multiplayer should be a Ken Burns documentary. I would just hope that it stays within theme, regardless of complete authenticity. And my problem with COD World War II is its lack of theme. Black female Nazi? Okay, maybe it's a black female playing on the Axis team. That's what she wants to look like. Again, that's the community aspect. Kills me with the Claymore sword, suddenly I've gone into Silly Town. I put a red dot on my M1 Garand, Silly Town. Okay, I get killed by somebody wearing the St. Patty's Day outfit, or the Grim Reaper outfit, or the Zombie Slayer gear. Again, Silly Town. There's a fine line between giving people options that didn't exist at the time and just completely throwing the theme away for cosmetic purchases. But who knows, this game that's coming out might be a really awesome Dieselpunk rendition of World War II. This could have robots and mechs all Wolfenstein style. This could have space travel. I guess that's also Wolfenstein style. God, Wolfenstein really did most of this stuff. I urge you, go watch Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. It is a great fucking movie. I love the early 2000s remake they did of it, honestly. It just held a special place in my heart as kind of a fun movie to watch. It's got great visuals, despite the fact that they didn't age amazingly. But watch that movie or look up some clips from it, and that's kind of what I'm hoping the game is like. But I'm really hoping, and here's the negative note to this video, I'm really hoping that they're not going alternate history so that they can justify integrating it with Warzone better. The reason I don't like that idea is because I feel like that wouldn't be Sledgehammer's creative vision, and instead that would be the game being designed from a corporate perspective to keep Warzone relevant versus an artistic perspective to keep the game interesting. Unique entries into the COD franchise might be on the bottom of Activision's priority list because of Warzone's current success. But back to a more positive note, the amount of creativity on the table for Sledgehammer with an alternate history World War II game is pretty damn astounding, and it could be very, very unique in the FPS space. If you had Battlefield doing modern conflicts, Halo going back to trying to find its roots, Call of Duty doing a fantasy version of World War II seems pretty interesting. I hope Sledgehammer doesn't leave this creativity on the table. I hope we don't get a lukewarm product that's designed to integrate with Warzone seamlessly. But this is cool. I can't even think about what kind of gadgets, tools, and environments we could see in a fantasy World War II game like this. Like, I can't even picture them. My hopes are that they don't play it too safe and that they don't copy Wolfenstein. I really hope they come up with their own unique aesthetic. Gadgets and tools could be very fascinating to play with this year, and I hope that they are, because they certainly haven't been in Black Ops Cold War, and they certainly weren't in COD World War II. So here's hoping that they've come up with a lot of things since then, and maybe we'll see some of that advanced warfare level creativity with the atmosphere of COD World War II. That could be very, very unique. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.